Before we start texturing, let's quickly look back at what we've done so far. In the last part, we finished unwrapping the entire treasure chest and learned how to properly lay out the UVs by scaling and packing the islands. That way, the model is ready to be sent into Substance Painter. Now, with everything organized and exported, it's finally time to move on to the exciting stage: texturing this treasure chest in Substance Painter. Alright, let's jump into Substance Painter. The first thing we do here is import our mesh, and as soon as it loads, we can see the full 3D model on one side, and its UVs laid out in 2D on the other side. If you look at the texture set list, you'll notice that it automatically picked up the sets we created earlier in Blender when we assigned different materials. This is why that step was so important. It keeps everything organized here as well. Next, before we start painting, we need to bake our mesh maps, so I went into the texture set settings and baked them out. This basically helps Substance Painter understand all the surface details like curvature, ambient occlusion, and normals, which will make our textures look much more realistic once we apply them. With that done, we're all set to finally start adding materials and begin texturing the treasure chest. So I started off by applying a metal material to the border of the chest and tweaked the color a bit to match my reference. Then I went on the hunt for a good wood texture. Couldn't really find the perfect one, so for now I just applied something that felt okay and adjusted the color to fit better. At this stage, it's more like playing around, testing what works. And that's when I came across smart masks, which look pretty interesting, so let's see how they can add more detail to our textures. From here, I just started experimenting on my own. I added a mask and then layered a new texture onto the metal border, which instantly gave it more depth. I did the same for the wooden part, applied another material, and the mask really made it look better, with subtle variation that feels more natural. After that, I continued adding materials to the other parts of the chest, testing and adjusting as I went. And finally, you can see the full treasure chest textured completely. It's not perfect, but for me as a beginner, this feels like a big milestone, seeing the model come to life with textures for the very first time. Once I was happy with the texturing, it was time to export everything out of Substance Painter. So I set the file path to where I wanted to save the textures, and then Substance Painter generated all the different texture maps for me. You can even choose which maps to include or leave out, depending on what you need for your workflow. With the export done, all the textures are now ready to be used back in Blender for rendering. After exporting, you can see all the different texture maps that Substance Painter generated for us. Now it's time to bring them back into Blender. I started by applying the diffuse map, or you can say the color texture, to the model. Then I added the metallic map to define the shine and metal areas, followed by the roughness map to control how light interacts with the surface. One by one, these textures start building up the final look. And it's really exciting to see the treasure chest inside Blender now fully textured and ready for rendering. So after applying the metallic border, I quickly went ahead and did the same process for the other parts of the chest, adding their diffuse, metallic, and roughness maps. And finally, as you can see, the entire treasure chest is now fully textured. From the wood to the metal details, everything has come together, and it feels amazing to see the model finally complete with textures.